backtrack just a little bit here. I know it's been a year since we've had this conversation, but if you would please, let's go over some of the stuff that you got coming up with Thrive.
That's awesome. Let's see. Thrive's roster this year is bigger than it was last year. So we're bringing on a new team. My property, Guan Xuan, and Mixtress Rowan is joining us this year to run our professional track. So we're implementing an entire class of class track of classes that are geared toward mental health professionals. So we'll be bringing in more presenters to talk specifically to helping professionals like therapists, doctors, things like that, to help them learn a little bit more about kink, but also learning a little bit more about that intersection of kink and mental health. So that's exciting. We are keeping that track small this year. It's our test run. But next year, hopefully, we'll be rolling out an opportunity for continuing education credits for those helping professionals that attend those classes, and hopefully expanding the track next year. We got some really awesome submissions for Thrive this year. So we're excited to have more classes that are focused on neurodivergence, mental health, and dominance. We're super excited to see some more relationship topics and a little bit more about power exchange and authority transfer in these classes. So I've got the schedule pulled up. I have some things I'm really excited about. So whenever you're ready to talk about the details of what's coming up, we're excited about that part too.
Yes. You brought up a couple things that has kind of been a big topic lately, especially around Free the Kink. One is that intersection of kink and mental health. We're seeing more and more of that talked about. One of the big things that we're hearing a lot about is the stigma behind mental health as a whole. What are, as someone who does this every day, and I mean, you're an authority here in this area, what are some of the biggest stigmas or some of the biggest challenges that people are still facing? And what are some things that we can do to help them get over? I mean, attending Thrive is one of the things I hope everybody does. I hope all 60,000 members of the FTK network attend Thrive. Now, I don't know if you could, that wouldn't happen, but wouldn't that be amazing? Because mental health is, it's still, we talked about this last year, but still, here it is, 2023, another year has gone by. It's still not a top priority. It's still not on the top of everyone's list, even though we all know, and research after research keeps coming out saying that if we would focus more on mental health, overall health would be much better.
Absolutely. And you're so right there. I think that for us and our experience and the things that we've seen year after year, Thrive will be this our third year. And I think that just doing some of the work that we did before Thrive that kind of made Thrive happen has always told us in our experience that some of the biggest stigmas that exist, we're looking at, especially the big one right now, is mental health and neurodivergence are two separate ideas. And having conversations around neurotypical versus neurodivergent and what general mental health looks like. So things like mindfulness and mental wellness and things like that, not being related to neurodivergence. And that's one of the bigger things that we're hoping that Thrive does for folks, is kind of give a distinction between, like, everybody has mental health, right? Everybody has to do the mental health things. Everybody has to focus on their mental wellness. And I think that we're leaning a little bit more this year. We're starting to see a little bit more stigma smashing around cluster B disorders. So we're doing more classes around sociopathy, more classes around psychosis. And I think that those topics are really kind of going to help us launch into a new era of BDSM and mental health and neurodivergence awareness, and having conversations around, like, we're not going to use words like crazy anymore. We're not going to call abusers narcissistic. We're not going to say assholes or sociopaths. Like, we're moving into a new generation of language and building things that people can understand as, like, you're not talking about a diagnosis, you're talking about behavior. And right. I think that that's really going to help, narrow things down. We've even got a class on borderline personality disorder, which I think is another one that's really highly villainized and stigmatized. And we're going to talk about it. And we're going to talk about the reality rather than the rumor and the stigma. And I think we're creating pathways this year to something that we've never seen before. And I think it's really awesome. I'm thrilled just to be a part of it.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. I mean, when it comes to neurodivergent, if you don't mind, I know we're going to try to focus on Thrive, but I do want to ask you this question, if you don't mind, because there's been a lot of conversation about who can and who can't participate in kink, people who are neurodivergent. And I don't have the education to speak on it, right? But I always think, to me, it's like, well, why would somebody want to exclude somebody who, if, as long as they're an adult and they can consent and they understand fully what's going on, maybe they've gone to Thrive, they've taken some classes. Why would we want to not allow them to experience anything that they want to experience? Do you see any of that? A lot of people saying, oh, there's no way that we should let people who have certain things consent. Obviously, if they can't consent, they can't consent. That's different. But if they're able to consent and understand fully what's going on in their life, they should be able to, enjoy the same things we do, right?
Absolutely. And I think that one of the things that we get a lot especially in Thrive's audience, because we're made up of mostly neurodivergent folks. But I think that one of the biggest things that we get out of Thrive is every year people are feeling more welcome in our spaces than they do in general kink spaces. And I think that part of that is because neurodivergence is so highly misunderstood. And we do have conversations throughout Thrive in more of our classes than we ever realized, but we do have a lot of conversations around neurodivergence and consent because it's different. It is different. Folks that are neurodivergent, I'm neurodivergent myself, folks that experience differences in communication, folks that experience differences in being able to read people. We have one of the biggest conversations that comes up in our power exchange and neurodivergence panel every year is, the idea that you can't be a good top if you can't read your bottom. Well, I'm autistic. I can't read people. I don't know how to read a room. I can't tell if somebody's happy or sad or frustrated, but I've studied micro expressions and body language and things like that. And people consistently prove me wrong. Science tells me that your face is sad right now. And they're like, no, I'm disappointed. And I'm like, that's a different emotion. So, those things really do build a different concept of what consent is, but it absolutely doesn't mean that we can't consent, nor that we can't participate in things like sadism and masochism and power exchange and authority transfer. Absolutely. We totally can, and we do. And, you're going to see at least 15 classes at Thrive all about neurodivergence and power exchange. It's really exciting stuff.
Good. I'm just so glad to hear that, because we've been, like I said, this conversation has been the top. Even on one of our podcasts the other day, this topic came up, and it's just so important that people understand that it's just, you got to communicate differently. And again, I don't have any background to speak on it, right? But from what I was, understanding, it's just different ways of communicating because the brain works differently. The brain is for each one of us, it is so complex, and I couldn't even begin to fathom it. So let's go right into that then, since we talked about that. What is some of the schedule? What is coming up? What can people expect this year?
Well, some of the things that, you can expect every year at Thrive, we always have our neurodivergence and power exchange panel, and we do split that up into 3 sections. So we have D types on Friday night. Then Saturday night, we bring in our neurodivergent S types. They talk about their experience. And then on Sunday night, we actually wrap up Thrive's entire weekend with a neurodivergence and power exchange Ask Me Anything session, where we bring all of our panelists back to answer any questions that you've developed throughout the weekend. Some of the stuff that we're really excited about this year, as we're talking about neurodivergence, we've got a class coming up called How to Talk to Your Autistic Submissive. We're super excited about that. We're talking about rejection sensitivity in 2 ways. Actually, we've got a general class, rejection sensitive dysphoria and DS. And then we're also going to have a class on the rejection sensitive dominant. Some of the other things that are really different and new this year for Thrive, we're going to talk about cannabis, kink, and mental health. We are going to have a class on executive dysfunction as a D type. We're going to have a class on living as a player with psychosis, a sociopath's guide to good mastery. And one of the things that I'm super excited about myself is all the anxious daddies managing anxiety on the left side of the slash. So those are the ones that I'm really excited about. Our full schedule is available up on the website now. It's thrivevirtualcon.com. And we've got a skeleton schedule up that gives you times and titles. And we are currently uploading our presenter bios and class descriptions as we kind of go along here. And right now we're still in promo phase. So we're rolling out a promotion every day on a new speaker and a new topic at Thrive.
That is awesome. So let's talk about, I mean, Thrive is a free event, right?
It is free to attend, absolutely.
Is there ways to support you or support the speakers or support, you know, the conference itself if someone wants to support?
Absolutely, we do. We have two ways that we love to receive support. Thrive is not an entity that can accept money on its own. It is owned by my LLC, but we haven't kind of cleared all of the DBA stuff for Thrive just yet. So we still can't, as an organization, accept any money. But if you want to, especially financially support, there are two ways. The first of which is Thrive has a swag shop. We offer things with our logo, like coffee cups and hats and fun stuff like that. The second and our preferred way that you support us financially is to donate directly to our speakers. Each one of our presenters or speakers has a page on the Thrive website that will list the ways that they prefer to receive support. So some of them have their own stores or their own companies or organizations. Some of them prefer their donations go to a charity of their choice, and some just list a Venmo, a Cash App, or a PayPal. So those are the two biggest ways. When it comes to supporting Thrive in a non-financial way, which is another thing that we often find folks want to do, we have thrive.com/press, and that is our press kit. So it includes our logo and our slogans and our dates and all the information that you would need for copy. So really it's just spread the word. Thrive has the capacity to have 1,000 people in its Zoom rooms. The classrooms are, I think this year they're going to be limited to 500 per room. But our bigger rooms for our panels and our opening and closing ceremonies and things of that nature are going to be 1,000 people capacity. So we're hoping, last year we had 1,100 people registered for this conference, and we're hoping to do more this year. So help us spread the word. Just, send out the event links or the website and help us spread the word. We can only go so far ourselves.
So does it, I mean, if it's like, say, 500 per class, excuse me, I'm sorry. Do people obviously pre-register for the classes they want to attend? And then is it a first come first serve? So do you need to get in there, or is it just if you registered, your seat is going to be there?
They are first come, first serve. We do have a function on our website for RSVPing to the individual events. So our website is really unique in that it works kind of like sketch.com. It allows you to build your own schedule. So you can go in and RSVP to the individual classes and panels that you want to check out. And our website keeps a running total of those RSVPs. So you can see on the website when you go to RSVP to an event, how many people are interested in it. So if it gets to that 500, then, you need to be in that room pretty early to make sure you get a spot. But so far, Thrive has, we've had to upgrade a room mid-conference just to get enough people in the room. And we will do that again if we need to.
That's so awesome. That is so awesome. Is there anything else while we got the opportunity that you want to share about Thrive, or anything that even, PK's doing, anything that you got coming up that you want to know about? I mean, I know that people have no idea what it takes to put on one of these conferences. And I know right now you are probably just, whoo, because it really is. I mean, we're putting on our first one next year, and I'm like, oh my God. And so it's just, I can't wait to attend it. What else should people know ahead of time?
First off, we are an incredibly dedicated team. I could not do this by myself. I absolutely need every single individual on my team to do exactly what they're doing. We have a great team. But I think one of the biggest and most interesting rumors about Thrive is that we have, a dozen people working on this. Our core staff is less than 10 people. We are a very, very small team. I do the bulk of the advertising and the scheduling myself. I have a handful of people that run the tracks for me, and we really only meet a handful of times to make this thing happen. A lot of this is really back-end admin work that we do ourselves individually in our own way and in our own time. And we just kind of get this thing cracked out and we make it happen. I think that one of the coolest things for me as an educator that came out of Thrive was people coming in and saying, like, I don't know how you manage an event that runs for 3 days, that's virtual, that's free, that over 1,000 people register for. You've got 40 or 50 speakers. Like, how do you do this? And it actually enhanced my business as a coach. Now I go in and help people build their own events and conferences and kind of give them the tips and tricks that I use, and give them a little bit of my system, and this is how we do it. I actually teach a class called How Does Thrive Happen? Where we actually walk through the back end admin process of this is how we build our conference, and this is how we plan it, and this is how it goes down. And I think that's one of the things that I really didn't expect coming out of Thrive. When we created this, it was really just, these topics don't get accepted at other conferences. You want to teach a class on how to talk to your autistic submissive. Where do you apply to teach that class? You apply to Thrive, and there were so many things that came out of Thrive that nobody expected. We didn't expect that. We put together a resource list that we wanted to have available in our support space, just in case during the weekend somebody needed more support than Thrive could provide. And now that resource list is used by dozens of organizations as their go-to resource guide for kink and mental health. And that, we never expected that. We just needed something for our weekend.
Is that the one that you can download on the website via the Google Docs?
Yep.
That's awesome. I actually just looked at that today. I was like, man, this thing is just chock full of great information. I mean,
it really is.
And that's okay for people to share that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have that up on the website. I post it up on Facebook occasionally when folks ask for it. It's publicly shareable. The only thing that we ask is that you give proper credit to who created it. My property, Guan Shuen, put that together, and I'm super proud. I couldn't be any more proud of that document. So all that we ask is, if somebody asks where you got it or how it was made, just make sure you let them know Devyn Stone's property, Guan Shuen, put it together for Thrive, and you can share it with anybody you want.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. All right. So listen, I mean, we're just about 60 days out or so from the event. Is that right? End of April. I know you're running with with your hair on fire, a million miles an hour, trying to get it done. Thank you for taking the time to come in here today and to speak to Free the Kink. We're going to put this in all the groups. We want everybody at Free the Kink to register, because it's going to, as you heard, it's going to go quick. You're not going to be able to get in the rooms you want to get into. So make sure you get there quickly. As you continue to grow, do you see this thing going? I mean, if you were 1,100 last year, this year you could have 1,500, 2,000. Do you see this thing getting to 5,000, 10,000? And then I guess then you're going to have more platform issues. How do we manage that many people? Because did you say you had 40 or 50 presenters for the 3 days, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, we're running this year. We'll be running 4 educational tracks and a 5th room for social and support space.
Awesome. How long is on average are the tracks, the classes?
Our classes run for 90 minutes. Our discussions run for 60 minutes, and our panels run for 3 hours.
Whoa, all right. Well, I can't wait to see it all. Thank you so much. And we'll make sure we include all the links and how to get to the website. Is there anything that, any specific contact for you, or for maybe for like your education or your coaching? Because you said you were helping people, build their own businesses, as far as the coaching and as well as conferences and things. How should people reach out to you for those types of, because that's a big thing right now. And it'd be good to have educators teaching them how to do that.
It is, absolutely. I teach classes and run coaching sessions and consult for folks on how to run virtual events and in-person events. Diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant as well. So all of that fun stuff. You can find all of my information at devynstone.com. And you can get in touch with me and book an appointment with me anytime you want. We can do a consultation, or we could just sit and chit chat if you need to. Thrive registration is open, and it's free, and it only takes 20 seconds. So do it.
Do it. It's quick. Thank you so much. And if there's anything FTK can do, if you need to promote anything or get the word out, please let us know. We'll get it out right away.
Absolutely. I sure appreciate it, Mac.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. See y'all at Thrive.
Bye.